Hello, welcome back to my channel, The Spell Needs Hope. Today I'm going to show you the decks that I am planning to use in February of 2024. So, and these are just the ones that I feel like I want to use. I might change them up a bit, but at the beginning of the month I like to kind of set aside the decks that I think I want to work with. So I'm thinking kind of February is still winter, but you start to feel that slightly going more into spring vibes. So the first deck is my trusty Dreaming Way Tarot. This is my favourite deck, or at least joint favourite deck with Tower of Mystical Moments. This deck feels all seasons to me, but I don't know if it's just because I use it all year. So I do use it all the time. The sword suit is very wintry because it has a lot of snow, but then, you know, some of them, there's lots of kind of flowers and they feel more spring. There's quite a lot of kind of neutral space in the background on some of the cards. Some of them have this kind of floral or botanical backgrounds, which also feels kind of going into spring. But yeah, the swords are very snowy, but then there's some brighter cards, but all this kind of neutral space that quite a lot of the cards have just feels very like that kind of fresh going into a new season kind of feeling. So this feels, I definitely want to use it for February. So it's still a bit, some of the days might seem a bit wintry, some of the days might seem a bit more spring. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see in the background, it's like, it almost looks like wallpaper in the background sometimes. Or like there's flowers and things in the background. It kind of also feels kind of airy. So we're kind of in that Aquarius season kind of air sign feeling as well. And it's also a bit quirky, which also feels quite Aquarius to me. So definitely a February deck. I've lost the box. I need to make a bag for this because I've used it so much that the box has fallen apart. Oh, and these are the backs. I always forget to show the backs. The backs, people either love them or hate them. I love them. There's a lot of people that don't like the backs. The next one, Dame Darcy's Queen Alice Tarot. So this is an Alice in Wonderland themed deck, which I got, which was one of my unicorn decks again. I talked about this in my last video. It's not out of print, but it's very difficult to get in the UK unless you want to pay extortionate amount for shipping. And the Wootique got some of these in again, and I snapped one up because I've been wanting one for ages. This feels very air again because of all the blue. It's got blue borders, and a lot of the backgrounds are blue as well. So it just feels, again, that kind of winter going into spring. And there's a lot of kind of pastel colours that feels kind of spring. I think Alice in Wonderland as a theme overall feels quite springy as well, because it's kind of, you know, when you're coming out of winter and you're starting to then think about doing a bit more and like having adventures. So to me, Alice in Wonderland feels quite spring. I mean, it feels quite summery as well, but yeah, this I want to use. I got this at the end of last year. I haven't used it a lot for readings. I keep flipping through it because I love it. But I haven't used it a lot, so I'm going to use this. I might use it for my, I haven't decided what I'm going to use for my Instagram challenge this month yet. That's because I haven't actually decided which challenge I'm going to do yet either. I might use this one. But yeah, so this is the Queen Alice tarot. These are the backs. This is the newest edition. I think it comes with a guidebook. I think the first edition didn't come with a guidebook. I don't know which, I don't know if this is a second printing or a third, I don't know. It doesn't say. Doesn't say on the box. No. I should have looked that up first. But anyway, it's the one that you can get currently. Well, people in the US can get it currently. It's got one of those flippy, like magnetic on the bottom boxes, which is really good in theory, but this is doesn't, the magnet isn't strong enough. As soon as you, that's not going to do it now. Every time I pick it up, it falls out at the bottom anyway, because the magnet isn't strong enough. I'm going to be using Grimaldkin's Curious Cats Tarot. More, I don't know if this really feels spring. I don't think it really feels seasonal to me, but I want to use it. I want to get to know it. So I'm going to use this deck as my card a day, I think, for February. That's the plan anyway. You know, it does feel spring. It has that, it's that airy vibe again. So I suppose it's more, feels more Aquarius again, rather than necessarily spring. I mean, it's got flowers, which is, feels spring. Yeah, it does feel spring because of the flowers. Definitely like magnolia, that's very spring. But then this one feels kind of autumnal, I don't know. But there's lots of magnolia, lots of flowers. So yes, it does feel spring. I knew I'd got it out for a reason. But it also has a kind of airy vibe. There's lots of clouds. And that just feels February to me as well. There's lots of clouds. Clouds and flowers. Makes sense to me why I feel like this is a spring or a February deck, should I say. So yeah, so I'm planning to use this one for my daily pulls, just so I can get to know it a bit more. So it's going to be a case of pull a card, read the guidebook, and that's about it. I might use it for a few spreads as well and see how it works. I could do one of my tarot test drives. I haven't done one of those for a while. I could do one of those with it. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. This one is fairly new. I haven't really used it. It's not really new. This is the second printing of a different box to the original printing. The original had like a border around the box, and that was still the picture of the one I bought, but then it came with this one. It's the second printing, and they've just changed the box. The cards are the same. So you get a guidebook. And this one, I don't know, it feels spring again because of the, I think the borders, because they're kind of like a pale, like colours. So it's kind of like, I've got some reversals in here. I don't really know how to explain this one. It just feels like I wanted to use it in February. Yeah, I think it's the colours. I don't think it's any deeper than that, to be honest. But also maybe just because I wanted to use it, because I haven't really used it. So it's one of those ones. I got the one that has the keywords on the top, and it has reversed keywords as well, which I don't, you can get this without, you can get it borderless without the keywords too. But I just felt like I wanted it for, in case, I don't know, I sometimes want to use keywords if I like forget what they mean. It doesn't really happen that much anymore, to be honest, but I just think it would be quite handy. I really like this Empress, I like her boots. it's kind of modern again. It's modern, it's colourful. It's very Rider-Waite-Smith based still. I love this Nine of Cups. So yeah, we'll see how, I'm not sure how I feel about this one yet, but it's because I haven't really used it. But I mean, it seems fun. Oh, and it's got the Eiffel Tower in it, so that's good for me. So we'll see how this one fares. These are the backs. I feel like this would be a good one to use to read for other people. So I might see if any of my friends want a reading with it and give it a go. This is the, I forgot what it's called, Enchanted Tarot. It's the really big one, the 25th anniversary edition one. It's like huge. It's in order, I think. Yeah. So it's huge. These are my, I've got quite big hands, but I definitely can't shuffle this. You know, I wouldn't be able to shuffle it. They're huge, but I like it. I want to use this. This just feels kind of, again, I think it's the pastel colours, but there's a lot going on. It feels kind of, I'll tell you why I think I got this out of February. It feels kind of like Valentine's-y. It feels kind of romantic, I don't know. And I don't really do those kinds of readings. But there's something about it, it just feels very February. It's all textiles, which I appreciate. I am a textile-y person. But yeah, there's something about it. I've been wanting to use this one, get to know this one as well. I feel like I've just picked loads of decks that are ones I want to get to know. I haven't really had a chance because I bought quite a lot of decks in last year that I haven't really had a chance to use the ones that I've then got, which is why I'm doing a low buy year this year. So I want to get to know the decks that I have. The hearts suit is the cups suit, and this definitely feels very Valentine's. There's loads because it's hearts. I think maybe that's what in my head what I was thinking. This feels very Valentine's Day, which is in February, so I'm using it in February. Again, most of my decisions make sense to me, but they might not necessarily make sense to other people. So yeah, so I just want to use this one because I haven't really used it a lot. And I also kind of, I feel like there's a certain practice I want to do with this deck that I don't really want to talk about right now, but I want to see if it works for what I wanted to use it for. So I'm going to have a go with that one. Ultimately, I don't know how usable the deck is for how big it is. Sometimes I'm put off using decks if I can't actually, like if they're not easy to shuffle and stuff, so we'll see. And then I've got 3 more decks because these are the decks that I'm planning, subject to change. I'm planning to use these 3 in my monthly readings for the Dawn Michelle's membership that I'm part of for this month. So we're kind of like having it's like a tarot adventure, the fellowship, where it's kind of a bit, you get significant readings from it, but it's also kind of a bit playing with the decks and playing with the cards as well, which I am really looking forward to, and it's been really fun so far. And so for each month I need, I'm choosing to pick 3 decks to work with primarily. So there's like 3 readings throughout the week, every week, there's kind of the overall energy, main readings, which I use the tarot for, and then at the end of the month, a card that we kind of are going to be logging and then using later in the year. So I've been choosing 2 oracles and a tarot. Well, that's my plan for each month. And I think these are the ones I'm going to use this month. So I've got the Seed and Sickle, and I might swap the oracles around. So this one I'm thinking for the overall energy, but I might end up using it for the end of month readings, end of week readings as well. I haven't really decided yet, but Seed and Sickle. So it's kind of like, it's an open theme this for February, but it's kind of, I feel like woodland or botanical decks might be helpful for the theme that we have this month. So yeah, so I'm thinking Seed and Sickle for one of the oracle pulls each week. I'm thinking Oak, Ash and Thorn for the main tarot readings. This might change. I was going to use the Dreaming Way to start with, but I think I might use, at the moment this is what I've chosen to do, these 3, but we'll see. I might change my mind. Let's say this is the Oak, Ash and Thorn, which is beautiful and very kind of woodlandy and very kind of British woodlandy, which is which I appreciate, because this deck just looks like, you know, where I live. These are animals that I can see in the countryside around my house. Not quite a lot of woodland decks have animals, yeah, because they're US inspired decks, and they might have animals that we don't have here, so like raccoons and stuff. But all the animals in this deck are all native to where I live, and I like that about it. It feels kind of homely. Oh, I should have kept that out. And then Woodland Wardens. I feel like Woodland Wardens, I did a deck pairing video with these and these, and I feel like this will go as well. So yeah, so I feel like I'm going to use these three decks this month for that specific practice. So yeah, so they are all the decks that I feel like I'm going to use in February. Let me know in the comments below whether you understand why I've picked them or not. Let's put some more in here, and I'll see you in the next one.